Cansilyan. Right, the rice field's looking a little okay. We need a little bit of rain. We're off up to a shooting range, and that's the eucalyptus where the eagle flies. Oh, that's what we're doing. We're off up to a shooting range. Right guys, we're up near the eucalyptus. Now, I've done a video of this house up here probably about 4 or 5 times last year, and there's a big story to it. When I put my phone in my gimbal, I'll chat about it. I only found out about this today, and Jovelyn said there's now a firing range up at this old house, this derelict house. Right, so when we get there, I'll chat about what happened 40 years ago. Right guys, good afternoon. We're here at the house. I've just seen, at the back of me there, you'll see that path. I've just seen a guy on a motorbike. He's got a dead dog, so he's got a rope around this dog's neck. Dead. It's a brown dog, quite a big dog, and he's just dragging it up that road. So what they're going to do with that dead dog? Is they going to eat it? Some people actually do still eat dogs here in the Philippines, and it's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Maybe it's, God knows, there's so many things goes off. You know, a lot of people will go, well, you've not been here long enough to know what goes off in Philippines. Believe me, I probably know more than what you know. Right, this is the house. Now Jovelyn says it's a shooting range. It looks like a shooting range for kids. Right, I'll actually reverse the camera and then I'll chat about. I'll just give you a little spin round so you know where we are. This is where we are, look, caution. So it says caution when you go in there. I'm going to chat about this house. Now I've done quite a few videos on this house before, and I've probably done about 3 or 4 videos. Now you'll recognise the gates. You have to go back next year and you know, you'll decide then, won't you? You know, you'll see the videos of this house. Now this is some type of shooting range according to form. So I don't, you know, it looks like the hide there, and then there's going to be a target. So maybe it's a soft, forgot what they call it. Maybe it's some type of airsoft shooting range. And I expected coming up here, somewhere up here, and finding this advanced shooting range. So, and there's supposed to be a lot of people that come here. Right, I'm going to reverse. Sun's come out now. Now I ain't put a vest on. Right, let me just show you, look, the house. Now, it's quite nice up here, you can see, look. So, I'm going to chat about this house in a moment. Now, it's quite nice, this house. It's in the countryside, so it's quite a good location. And I've always wondered, I thought, wow, this is a really nice house. It's a really good location. And once upon a time, this was absolutely a beautiful house. And an old lady used to live here, and she owned all this land. Now, you know, this is what I was told. The old lady lived here, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago maybe. And, you know, this is the view she got. It's really nice up here. She had her own gardener, so the land here were absolutely spectacular. See, that goes over on to Andamanum. Now, I will get you views in a moment. So, what I've actually been told today, this is off Jovelyn. Oh, there's a shooting range up here, and there's a lot of people here, and I expected to come up to this really advanced shooting range, and it's not the case. Now, this is a government-owned house. I don't know how that became a government-owned house. 40 years ago, the New People's Army were actually hiding out in this building, this house. And this were a luxurious house, beautiful gardens. It had its own gardener. The old lady was a landowner. She would have been a multi-millionaire, right? She would have been a very, 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 very rich woman, very rich lady. And New People's Army were hiding in here. And from Andamanham, I knew somebody what lived in Andamanham. I'm going to get you the view. It's a big drop now here. So I'm going to actually get you this view. So, you know, it's a beautiful view. It's a beautiful view. So what happened was, they were hiding. MPA were hiding under this house. And helicopters came in. It were an armed siege. The army, this place, and the new People's Army, NPA, were hiding under this house. Now, I was told there were a cellar under this house, and that's where they were hiding. Let me just check. And this is where they were all hiding out. Ah. See, I mean, look at that. It must have been absolutely beautiful, this. You know, what a beautiful spot. And just look at it. I'll actually reverse the camera. So that's what they were doing. The New People's Army were hiding here, and basically it was war. It was a fight to the death, and that's what they did. They came in with the helicopter, they were dropping bombs, missiles, and it were a big fight here. There were lots of gunfire going off. I don't know what happened. And even in Andamanham, they could hear the gunfight, they could hear the shooting, and, you know, a lot of people must have actually got killed. And this is where they were hiding out, and they were supposed to be hiding under this house. Now, I don't know how the New People's Army actually got here, but I don't really know a lot about the New People's Army, but I think, you know, they want to overthrow the government. They're not very happy with the government here. But, you know, I don't really know enough about the New People's Army. But this is what was supposed to have happened here. And when I came up here, I thought, wow, what a beautiful spot. And as far as I know, this was just an old a billionaire, you know, a sugar baron's house. And it were an oldish lady. And I heard quite a few stories about the old lady. She owned all the land around here as far as your eye can see. And what were different was, she didn't like electric cables. You know, there were a lot of things. Looks like the building here, look. So the building here. And this is going to be maybe some type of shooting range. So whether they use this as a shooting range or what, I don't know. So, you know, the old lady, she didn't like new things, you know, she didn't like TVs, she didn't like, you know, she didn't like people doing what they wanted on her land. If there were a bottle, some scrap, some rubbish on the land, she'd pull you and she wouldn't be very happy. And she used to walk round the property, which is like I said, it's absolutely ginormous. And that was the old lady, that was the story I knew about this old lady, you know. And she used to, when she used to go into Mercia, now they've put a new road in here. Before we even came, if you go past Mama Mary's, on the road past Mama Mary's, it brings you here. But the road is actually stopped. Now the road is down there, but it's just in there. I'll get you a shot on it. So that's where the new road is. So something's going to happen here sooner or later. So that's why this house has never been sold. Because somehow the government have actually got this house. You know, you can work it out in some theories. Like I said, don't know if they're out to do it. New People's MPA, New People's Army. So, you know, but that's what I was told today. That's what happened here. A big gunfight, you know, helicopters dropping in. helicopters dropping in, lots of shooting, lots of firing, and they could hear this from Andaman, Mercia, Cansilyan. They could hear it and see a lot of this gunfighting, and that were 40 years ago. So you know, a lot's changed now. I don't know what happened then. You know, the old lady, I don't know how long since the old lady actually passed away. So, you know, that, it's a true story. It's definitely a true story. MPA, to you guys that don't know the MPA in the Philippines, it's the New People's Army. What are they about? I don't really know. All I know about the MPAs, you know, they're not very happy with the government, and that's all I know about them. I don't really know a lot about them, but that's what happened here. Gunfight with the MPA. Now then, I'll reverse the camera. Like I said, guys, this would have been an absolutely beautiful house. Now, when we came here 3 years ago, right, you know, we looked around here before we bought the house. When we actually came here, that's over into Andaman. This is over into Mercia. So when we actually first came here, there were a family in here, a caretaker, looking after this property. And, you know, we used to see him and he had his family here, and we used to say hello. And then he actually disappeared. So, you know, I don't know what actually happened to the caretaker. Now, you'll see that jeepney there, blue jeepney. He's on the new road. So he's, as far as I'm aware, he's on the new road. Yeah, he's on the new road. That's the new road, it ends there. So that's where the new road is. Let me have a look. So that's there, the new road. Where that jeepney is, that's the new road. So like I said, it looks like that jeepney's waiting to pick someone up. Looks like the pond's got a bit of water in it. So that's it, look. Ah, all these guys here, look. Looks like all these guys are actually been working on the field. You can actually see them. They're all coming off the fields. So this property did belong to an old lady. But I don't know what happened, because 40 years ago, you know, NPA, there were a big fight here, you know, so all these fields, all the people around here saw it and heard it. And like I said, I thought I'd come to this shooting range, but it's not exactly a big shooting range, is it? It's more like, it's more like what kids play here. So it's not really a big shooting range. But you know, it's a really interesting story. And you can see, like I said, they've all been working up there, look. So it looks like there's a crew, this crew here's been working. Oh, they've been up, you know, looks like they're carrying machetes and work clothes, and looks like they're off. Now they're coming down that trail there, look. Let's have a look. This gimbal's not too clever anymore. Ah, it's not even working. Right, it's working. I've got it to work. Right, so that's it, look. When I can find her. So that's it, look. Coming down the field. And that's what they're doing. It looks like they're going to the jeepney. So they must have ordered a jeepney, and that's going to take them wherever, you know, this crew's from. Because that crew can be from a different part. You know, they could be from like 20-30 mile away. A lot of these people that work in the sugarcane fields, they're not actually native of the sugarcane fields here. They're not native. You know, they can come in from all over the place. Don Salvador, Escalante. You know, they can come in from even Cebu. Even a lot of these people come in from Cebu. So, you know, it's quite a beautiful place, as you can see. Let me just take it down. So, quite a beautiful place. So the old lady, she would walk down here with her chauffeur. And she had a chauffeur. and she would walk onto that road there, and there'd either be a taxi or a jeepney for her to actually get into Mercia. So that's it, look, eucalyptus, absolutely beautiful. Joveline, I don't think Joveline knows about that, saw that. Oh, is he going? I don't think Joveline actually saw that. You know, that guy, he'd got a brown and white dog, and he'd got a wire rope around the dog's neck. Where that's coming from, that little four-wheel drive, right? He had a rope round its neck, and he pulled it up this hill where that four-wheel drive's going, and he just was dragging it. So don't know what happened to the poor dog. So that's what happened. You can't come this way when it rains, guys, when it's rainy season. Wow. All up here, all up this little hill, it's just so deep in sludge. So this is it, it's beautiful here, and that's why this house has not been sold. That's why this house hasn't been sold. It belongs to the government. As far as I know, I could be totally wrong. You know, I mean, I expected coming up here and this big shooting range, but there ain't a big shooting range here, is there? There's what you see. So, you know, I never expected actually, excuse me, never expected actually to see a rope around a dog's neck and a motorbike pulling this dog, and the dog, and it was quite a big dog, like I said. I don't know what they're doing with dog. I mean, if that were your dog, you'd have put it on back of your motorbike and you'd have roped it on. You wouldn't just put a rope around its neck and then just drag it, would you? You know, just drag it up the road. So, like I said, you just never know what's going off, do you? You know, you'd be surprised what goes off in your area. I'm sure about that. So, please like, please subscribe, please share the videos, please help support in the way of a dollar. Now the sun's come out, I might get sunburnt going back home. Right guys, so you can see, look, that's the old water tank. Then you come down. Now we're on a slab of concrete here, so, you know, that's got to be the septic tank. And this is where you get a wash, look. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Not but it's any of my business. Right, so that's it, look. That's the water tank. And you can see, look, there's a pipe here. So that pipe would have gone straight up there, look. And it would have gone to the water tank. And there would have been a tap. And then you get a nice wash here in the morning. So that's it, look. Do a quick video of the house. So, don't know about Rambo, more like Ram's bottom. You know, that makes me laugh. I know a lot of guys in England and they think they're Rambo. So why would you want to think you were somebody you're not? You know, so that goes back to people insecurity, doesn't it? You know, people need friends, don't they? They need people to hold their hands. You know, they have to have someone that's going to hold their hand. Right, so this is it, look. This is the house. And like I said, once upon a time, this would have been really nice. You know, really prestige, so to speak. So this is it, look. Quite a nice big washroom, absolutely lovely, you know, quite big, quite nice, you know, sink, surprised nobody stuck sink. So that's it, look. And obviously it had some type of upstairs, so, you know. Evelyn says, where's the cellar? Well, they could have filled it in. So if there is one under this house, it could have been filled in, or it could be hid in these trees here, and what they did years back is just filled it in. But that's where they were. New People's Army were actually hiding out here in Cansilyan. So, you know, that's the story. But, you know, like I said, the story was there's a really nice shooting range up here, which really there isn't. You know, it's like a paintball. You know, maybe somebody's coming up here and doing a little bit of paintballing. So that's it, look. That's it. And you've got your beautiful views. Juvs vlogs. Like something to see, look, absolutely beautiful. Don't worry, I'll put it in the description. So that's it, look. Really nice up here, guys, absolutely lovely. Who lives in a house like this? Oh, what's growing in house? We've got a papaya. So it's not going to get blown down, is it? A papaya. We have a papaya in the house. So there's a papaya tree in the house near the stairs. And that's it, look. You'll look out of the beautiful window. And how nice is that? Absolutely beautiful. Oh, looks like a butterfly's wing. Absolutely beautiful. How nice is that? Absolutely gorgeous. A butterfly's wing. Guys, that's where we've just come from. That's where the dead dog with the rope around its neck, being pulled by a motorbike, actually came down the road. Earlier I saw some guys with shotguns. They were on the bikes and they got shotguns. So this is it, look. This is the dragon fruit farm. And you can see now, look, the scale of it. See? So that's the dragon fruit farm. You can see, look, it's big. It must have cost millions and millions and millions of pesos. You know, just to put this wire up here, all the way, 2 kilometers to the road. So, see? Yeah, it's a transformer. It'll regulate electricity. So that's the new power lines, guys. That's the new power lines. That's the Cansilyan volcano. Just said the Cansilyan volcano is now behaving because she's been going boom for a long time. Yeah, you know, things actually surprise you, don't they?
Smoke on it, smoke.
Yeah, it still smokes, it's still live, and it's still lit up sometimes at night, but things surprise you, you know. You come out to go to this big luxurious shooting range and it's not exactly that, is it? And you know, you just never know what's round that corner, do you? You know, you just stood there and you come to look at this shooting range and then you see a long piece of rope at the back of a motorbike and then you see a dog on the end of the rope and it's being pulled up this dirt road, but not this one, that one there, what we've just come down. So you think, is that dinner? Oh no, it's quite a big dog. So, you know, you just never know what's going off, do you? So, very, very strange things happen here in the Philippines. And we were chatting earlier on about school, you know, school kids, college boys, college girls. We're actually chatting about them earlier on. You know, there's a lot of nice school, college people.
This is there another gate back.
Oh, if I can get there. You know, there's a lot of nice people, kids, college students. There's a lot of nice ones around. but a lot of them, they're very, very disrespectful. And I have actually noticed that won't last 3 years. You know, how they've actually changed.
Talking about their manners.
Yeah, we were talking about their manners earlier on. You know, some of them are just like show-offs, really little disgusting. You know, really showing off all the time and very disgusting, some of them. Right, I'll just reverse. Right, so that's it, look, that's the chicken farm. Now that is a big, big, big operation. And like I said, it must have cost millions. Just even to put these power lines in must have cost a fortune. So, you know, and there's no smell whatsoever coming from this farm. It's the other farm over the field there. So this farm is a very clean, no smell farm. It's quite sophisticated actually.
No
Because
flies.
the guy off this farm actually chatted to, you know, Jovelyn and some of her friends, and he actually told her, you know, the farming method. So it's quite sophisticated and there's no smell whatsoever. So simple as that really.
No
We're going to hit the
flies.
dangerous dogs in a moment.
No
So
flies.
I've always got my stick and I always pick a rock up and I'll show you the smelly farm. Well, I'll get you a little video. Like Jovelyn said, there's no smell and there's no flies from this farm. They're all from the other one and the one across into Cansilyan going over in Tandem. It looks like someone's been wallowing in the mud. And that's the mama. She's having a nice little bit of grass and she's pulling that rope as far as she can get it. And you know, she's just enjoying a little bit of grass. So that's it. See that farm down there? You'll see that tank. And that's the smelly farm. So that's it, look. Right. We're into doing. Keep walking, Jovelyn. You know, we're in dangerous dog territory now. So, to get ready now. I can see a dog. I can see a dog and there's one on the road. Yeah. Yeah, I've got my stick. Not so bad really. Sometimes it gets very dangerous. Not bad at all. There's normally quite a lot of dangerous dogs. It's the girls. Are you shopping?
What's your name?
On YouTube, Paul Reg Bruce. Right, so I don't know where all the dogs are. Maybe. Right, I don't know where all the dogs are. Last time I walked past there were quite a lot of dogs. And they're very dangerous. That one's not so dangerous, it just yaps. You know, it's not really attacking. So, you know, you have to be very careful. They can come up behind you, look. Get on. So they can come up behind you. That one's not so bad. But you know, it's only trotting. So you can be walking on here, don't know what's happening. Dog bites you in back at leg. So you have to keep looking all the time. Now, like I said, with it being hot, most of the dogs there might be just laid up. Or maybe someone got a little hungry and invited the dogs to dinner. Who knows? What are you doing? Scratching on the road. Right. Even though I want to improve this. So where we step at night, you just cannot see where you're stepping at night. So I want to improve this so it's a bigger step up. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to actually improve so I can step it up. Good morning. It's actually 4 minutes past 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm editing this video. So you know, this is where we are, look. We're in the plaza and we're getting ready to go back to Cansilyan. So you know, I couldn't resist getting a video of this new bulldozer. Absolutely beautiful. And like I said, dangerous dogs here. Looks like a lot of the dogs here have actually starved to death and there's not so many dogs anymore. Till one of the bitches comes in season and a dog gets her and then it starts all over again. So you know, this is where we are. That's Jovaline over there, she's waiting. And like I said, looks like they're going to be doing quite a lot of work here in Mercia because they've got this big lovely bulldozer. So looks like work's going to be continuing on the roads, on the fields, because I'm sure this baby is a very powerful workhorse. So you know, if I find out what's happening with this beast, I'll try and do a video. So 2 o'clock in the morning, it take me 40 minutes to upload this video. Have a great day, take care, God bless. Here in Cansilyan.